Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. So today I'm just going to share a little bit on some of the available Sharia compliant or halal or less haram stocks in the US market according to some of the scholars. Okay. So I will not go into detail as to how the criteria and etc. etc. So this is just as a muqaddimah or an introduction to knowing some of the stocks that are considered compliant with the Islamic principles generally. Okay, so it's your job to look up further on this if you want to, or if not, you can just follow what the scholars that I follow have determined as halal, because of course there are always arguments, disagreements, etc. as to what is halal and what is not. Okay, for example, in issues like the food, okay, in issues of food, we know that the scholars of the Hanafi madhab or school of thought consider that eating squid, okay, or shrimp is haram. But whereas in the other schools, like especially the Shafi'i, the Maliki, they consider this to be halal. So they all have their own arguments. Okay, we won't say that this is a strong opinion or this is a weak opinion. So usually they have all their own merits. Okay, they all have their own strength. So let's go to the first stock. Okay, so Airbnb. So this is considered to be compliant with the Sharia. Airbnb. The next one is ABT. Okay, so ABT is compliant. Adobe. Okay, so this is compliant. And then we have Advanced Micro. And then ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil, I'm sorry, this one I'm not sure whether it's halal or not. I left it out in the second. Okay, and then Amazon is haram. Okay. AMD is halal, okay, or compliant. Apple is compliant. Okay, ASMIY is halal or compliant. AVNW is haram. AZN is halal or compliant. Boeing is haram, mainly due to its debt, and also you might argue that it's haram also because it supplies defense systems to the Israeli army. Okay, Baba is halal or compliant. BBW is not. Bonso is not. BOOT is yes, halal, it's compliant. CALX is compliant. CIX is haram. Okay, CDMO is that is involved in biotech. Health technology is halal. CELH is considered compliant. Citigroup obviously is haram. It's a banking thing. Finance, so finance kind of companies usually are haram throughout the world, including in countries like Malaysia. Okay, CLFD is compliant. CODA is compliant. COWN, haram. CPNG, Kupang, a new company from Korea. People say that even Bill Gates bought some stocks in this company, so it is fortunately halal for its new company. So not so clear about the track record. Crocs is compliant. DAQO is compliant. Disney obviously is haram. DLHC is not compliant. EMKR haram. ENVA is haram. Facebook is considered compliant. FACO is haram. FCX is haram. GGB is not halal. GILD is haram. GLBXF is not compliant. GNRC is considered compliant. Google is considered compliant. GPS, I can't remember. Here, HEAR is considered compliant. HIMAX is compliant. HOME is yes, compliant. HD is compliant. IAIC is haram. IDT is haram. IMOS is haram, the one producing semiconductors. INDP is haram. IIIN in steel industries is considered compliant. INTC is compliant. JD is compliant. JNJ is compliant. JYNT is yes, compliant. Coca-Cola is compliant. Lazy Day is haram. LEAT is compliant. LLY is compliant. LOVE is compliant. LPX is compliant. LRLCY is compliant. LXFR is compliant. MasterCard is considered compliant. Microsoft is compliant. MN is haram, Manning. MRK is compliant. Nanoface is compliant. Nike is compliant. NIO is haram. NVDA is compliant. NVMI, producing semiconductors, are haram. NVO is compliant. NVS is compliant. PFE is compliant. PG is compliant. RHHBY is compliant. SCHN is compliant. I bought some of the stocks, even though it's now unfortunately going down 16%. Okay, SID is haram. SIM is compliant. Starbucks is considered compliant by the Islamically, even though there are, I mean, of course, people who disagree with this because they sell a little bit of some wine, okay. SNY is compliant. TAIT is haram. Tesla is considered to be compliant by the Islamically. So Texas Instruments is considered halal. TMO is considered compliant. TRNS compliant. TSM, not sure, don't remember. Uber is generally considered compliant, even though people might also argue on this because they sell some non-halal food through Uber Eats. Visa is considered compliant. VZ or VZ, haram, advertising company. XOM, I don't remember. Zoom is considered compliant. Some other companies that consider compliant, including ABMD in healthcare, ALGN, ANVS, ARYC, ASFT, BIIO, HAON, NVTA, QTMM, ROTH, SVTE, TXN, these are all compliant companies, TCEHY, TZACU, Uni, CY, CIVE. Okay, so these are all considered compliant by Islamically. Okay, so these are all, you could say, correct as on the 20th of June, 2021. Okay, so So the source that I take this from, it's quite frequently updated. Okay, it's really quite frequent compared to how the Sharia Advisor Committee (SAC) in certain countries such as Malaysia, how frequent they update this list is. The Malaysian one, it is the one is updated twice a year. Okay, so that's not that frequent. Okay, but this one is quite frequent. So if you find any of what I've mentioned to be, if there is any mistake that you find that is clear, please don't hesitate to leave down a comment, especially if you are someone who has studied fiqh and usul al-fiqh at a higher level or at least intermediate level. Okay, so when we say intermediate level, of course, we expect you to have studied finished at least a simple basic book of fiqh. For example, if you're a Shafi'i, you would have studied all the basic ones like Mukhtasar al-Latif or Matan Abi Shuja', Safinat al-Najah, and all that. And so, yeah, you are welcome to give a comment if you have studied Sharia, at least fairly for a few years, and not just you're a newbie and have not studied anything in Sharia, if not completed any book of fiqh, and then you want to voice out your opinion saying this is halal, this is haram. You have not even memorized Juz Amma and all that, so I will not welcome your opinions there. Okay, that's all from me for now. Sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.